Hey everyone, it's Aubrey, recovering perfectionist, queen of distraction, and today we are here for, it feels like, kind of special video. This is a video that I've been looking forward to for the last few months. When I did my big spring cleaning video back in whenever spring started, I was obviously decluttering and paying attention to the things that are in our kitchen that we use on a regular basis, the things that really don't serve us whatsoever. And it got me thinking and focusing a lot on all of the things that we got for wedding gifts that we still use on a very regular basis. And it also got me thinking about the things that I really don't even recall because they didn't serve us for a very long time, or it was something that we ended up returning because we realized it was something that really wasn't going to be in our home long term or was realistic for the current situation that we were in. A little quick backstory on my husband Josh and I. We met in 2007. It was 2007 when we met in high school, and on April 21st, 2008, he asked me to be his girlfriend before we went to fourth period, and here we are. We've certainly had our fair share of bumps along the way, but I just went through a ton of old pictures and pictures from our wedding and pictures of our family growing over the years. And I'm just so stinking proud of how far we've come and where we are. And it's been a heck of a journey, but I'm really happy. Anyway, oh yeah, I just want to cry, but I'm so happy and proud of how far we've come and how much we've grown. We had a lot of support along the way from friends and family, but I suppose ultimately we did it together, and I wouldn't want to do life with anybody else. I also wouldn't want to share my kitchen with anybody else. And with that being said, let's just roll into this. You can't see it now, but my table very much looks like a garage sale of things that you would probably be very happy to find at a garage sale. So if you've watched any of my past videos, or if you're new here, I'm gonna fill you in real quick. You know or you don't know that a big theme in my life now is decluttering and being very intentional about the things that we keep in our home, and really me being smart about the things that I'm willing to invest my mental energy on. ADHD is my constant companion, and the less that I have in my house, the better. But I also don't like to have to buy things twice, and I try to be very realistic about acknowledging that as life happens, we go through very different seasons. There are things that may be a huge staple at one season of life. Like here, we're just gonna pop in right here. This double waffle iron. It might sound silly, but I don't have the brain capacity for waffles right now. So when I have more brain cells to spare in the future, when I no longer have a toddler, we'll do waffles more. Whoops. But that's one of those things. I'm not willing to get rid of it because I know that right now isn't a waffle time, but we've waffled a lot in the past, and I know we will waffle in the future. Okay. So back in 2014, ye olden days, I know that Amazon was a thing, but I think that Target and Macys, at least in my mind, were still the traditional route to go for a wedding registry. I remember it was Valentine's Day. We went to Macys, we had the beeper gun, and we beeped the things that we wanted. And then I think the Target registry, I did everything online, but I think there were some things that I beeped in store. Do people beep anything for wedding registries anymore, or is it all online? Like the last few weddings that I've gone to, everything was just through Amazon. There's just so many options out there. And I think that one thing that I am pretty proud of myself that I did when I registered for things, I registered for items that I knew that I wanted in the long term. Most things I registered for a higher quality brand, and I tried not to register for things that were too trendy color-wise, because I wanted to make sure that things were going to be something that I was willing to hang on to for a long period of time and not think ill of them because of the color that they were. Let's just hop in with the dishes that we chose to get. It was a 6-piece set, and I registered for 2 boxes. So I got 12 of these plates, 12 of these plates, and these bowls. But wait, there's more. These bowls. Oh, Alex waking up. And these bowls. Why do I do this to myself? I should have gone through all the quiet items first. So 9 years later, this ceramic set. Cool, there's a fly. Lay down. Oh, you hear that dog? Do you want to go lay down? All right, he's just having some chill time in the living room. Also, if you're planning your wedding registry and you want to have kids, welcome to your future. It's beautiful, it's wonderful, but prepare to be interrupted for the rest of your life. Anyway, okay. So these dishes, They just have like simple detail on them. I don't even know if that focused. Whatever. The point is, register for something that is simple, that you like. No, I take that back. Register for something simple that you love, because chances are you're at least going to still like it 9+ years down the road. Do I love this set now? No. Do I like them enough to hang on to them? Yes. I'm not at a point where I feel like I need to replace these for something that I do like more, because obviously they still work. They're a very neutral, classic style that fits in our home now. And with my style trends, I don't really see these ever going out of style in our home. So just keep it safe, keep it simple. Also, those plates I got at Macys. I'm trying to decide where to start next. I don't really know if there's any rhyme or reason to any of this order or whatever, but we're doing it. So I'm pretty sure I've been gifted a couple cast iron pans over the years. I don't use it as often as I used to, just because at this point in my life, I'm gravitating towards things that I can put in the dishwasher. This isn't one of them, but I do really love baking in it. If I do use this now, it's because I'm making some kind of bread in it. So get yourself a cast iron pan. They're nice, and if there's anything that I've learned from any Disney movies, it can also be used as a weapon if need be. These stainless steel nesting bowls, there's a third one that is smaller. We use these so much. These were the Martha Stewart collection from Macys. They have the silicone grip on the bottom, so like they don't slide anywhere. I like that they have the pour spout, and see on the inside you can see that there's measurements and stuff. I'm honestly very surprised that I even had 2 of these to show you, because normally they are always in some kind of circulation in the kitchen, whether they're thawing out meat in the fridge or just dirty in the sink. I definitely recommend getting some kind of stainless steel bowl with a spout. Obviously the measurements are a bonus, and the silicone thing, I don't feel like you can go wrong with that. Next, our French press. There's still coffee in it from this morning. So this is one of those things that, like, we go through seasons of life, and we go through seasons where we use the French press, we go through seasons where we don't. For a long time we had a Keurig. We actually just got rid of it. I also go through seasons where I really just avoid coffee, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm much more of a tea drinker. So my husband uses this pretty much on a daily basis. Obviously you have to clean it out, but we just pop it in the dishwasher. This actually isn't the one that we got for our wedding registry. We registered for a nicer, fancier one from Macys, but many moons ago, our cat knocked it off the counter, it shattered. So we replaced it with this one from IKEA that just has a little bit more plastic protection. It's still glass, and it's just not as fancy or as aesthetically pleasing as our other one was, but it's held up a lot longer. This is a KitchenAid strainer thingy. It goes on the sink. I do not recommend buying for straining, but I have found this to be way easier for sifting flour than like the hand cranky ones, or like even the zzzz ones. I don't sift flour often, and I did have one of the metal ones that I think it was the squeeze one, and it was just agonizing to do, but I found that this strainer works way better for sifting flour than it does actually straining things. Everything gets stuck in here, and it's a nightmare to clean. So recommend it as a sifter, not as a strainer. All right, next item is our trusty toaster. We have used the life out of this. I'm pretty sure at one point my husband actually, ooh, that's disgusting. I thought my husband had to rewire it. There was one point it stopped working, but he made it work again. But I think even at that point, we had gotten 5 years of use out of it. And this is something that we do use on a daily basis, multiple times a day. 100% recommend if you like bread or frozen waffles. This pot is, let's see, has a strainer thingy that's probably loud. Let's see, Chef Mate. I can't remember if this was from our Macys or our Target registry, but either way, it's just stainless steel. It's held up really well. It's something that I use multiple times a week, sometimes multiple times a day, like the toaster. Obviously with the steamer insert, it's very versatile. I think that this is a kitchen staple that everybody just needs to have. And that's what I have to say about that. Man, I'm not looking forward to putting all this stuff away. All right, this wee rice cooker was not something that I registered for, but again, sometimes people who have lived life just know what you need before you do. And again, something that we use multiple times a week. I do want to replace this because it has the non-stick coating on the inside, and I want to get one with a stainless steel insert. But if you are a person like me who sometimes gets distracted but also has to cook rice sometimes, just get yourself a rice cooker. You're gonna save yourself scrubbing a pan. I can promise you that. Oh, the coffee grinder. I don't know where the inside part is right now, but it's somewhere in the kitchen. I couldn't find it. Anyway, the grinder was something that I felt like I needed to have because I grew up watching my parents grind coffee basically every morning. I will say, I don't think that we've ground coffee in this but a few times. We do, however, grind spices in it on a very regular basis, herbs, and I've actually stopped buying powdered sugar and I just make our own powdered sugar in this and it works wonderfully. It's been a handy tool in our kitchen and yeah, don't regret registering for it. Another thing that I registered for because my parents have one is a pressure cooker. And it actually took probably 5 years for us to actually use this thing, but we knew that we wanted to at some point in our lives get into preserving food, and we have used it several times at this point. So I don't think it hurts to have ambitions for the future when you register for things and put things on there that kind of align with your hopes and dreams for the future. All right, so now I'm just gonna talk about the 2 things that I still have that I really didn't need to register for. That can go in the garbage. Should we throw that away? Yeah, it's all gone. Let's throw that away. Okay, let's see. Things that I wish I didn't register for, but still have for some reason. When we registered for this, I imagined us having like a fancy bar cart and having friends over for cocktails and whatnot and having dinner parties because that's what I grew up seeing couples do on TV. Very far from the reality. I put lilacs in this like once a year. So it's a pretty vase, but that's about it. Will I get rid of it though? No, because then I'd have to buy another tall thing to put lilacs in when they bloom. Next thing I probably could have lived without, not these mason jars, I'm just not taking them out, but this little decorative bowl. I think that I've really only ever used this for storage. I don't think I've ever served anything in it necessarily. It's very much always been the fruit holder. Now it's the jar holder. It's a timeless style that I'll hang on to. But also, if I had $1 for every bowl that has come and gone through my house, I know that I could have lived without this. So not the end of the world, but I guess it's serving a purpose at least. All right, so last thing in the kitchen category, and really there's only a couple other things after this last one, but this is the item that Josh and I decided was hands down the best gift, the best thing that we decided to register for. Oh, and it is the KitchenAid mixer. Ta-da. These decals my friend made for me with her Cricut a few years ago. Not super into the red thing anymore, but whatever, I don't care. This came with the stainless steel bowl and then just these 3 attachments. When Josh and I first got married, we were living in a studio apartment and we really did not have a ton of kitchen space. So I didn't use this a ton just because it was a lot of effort to get it out of the area that it was being stored. It took up a lot of space on the counter. But since we've moved into our house, this has definitely, over the last 3.5 years, it's gotten so much use that it literally needs an oil change. So it's gone its 3,000 miles or whatever and needs to go to the shop. So still KitchenAid related. This is the bowl that I use primarily. Again, I love the spout. It has the measurements. Not that I actually really use those, but this wasn't something that was on my registry. An old friend of mine who was a baker, she knew that it was what I needed. And then the attachment with the spatula, I use this more than the one without. So definitely recommend, if you register for a KitchenAid, do yourself a favor, register for this. In my experience, it's also been extremely handy to have 2 bowls. I personally seem to have this pattern that when the KitchenAid comes out, I feel the need to do all the things that I can do with the KitchenAid. So I'll end up baking bread and then baking something else, and it ends up being a busy day and there are a lot of dishes, but I can let bread rise in one and still have the option to mix in the other. And then again, another KitchenAid accessory is this meat grinder. It comes with 2 different sizes. I have them both crammed in there just for storage purposes. We don't use this as much as we imagine, but I do still think that it's something nice to have as an option if there's something that you want to grind up meat-wise. Sometimes we just end up with cuts of meat that I know that we're realistically not going to do anything with, and I'll just grind them up and use them for this, that, or the other. We have a whole frozen turkey in the freezer from last year that we're going to thaw out and just grind up all the meat and then make bone broth with the bones. So I'm happy that we have this on hand for that project. Yeah, I guess that's all the things for my kitchen. I'm really not looking forward to putting all this stuff away. I will say it was fun to go through everything and reminisce, and hopefully now that I'm an old married woman of many years, I was able to pass on some of my wisdom to somebody who is now getting married. P.S. Congratulations if that is you. Let's wrap up the kitchen stuff. We're going to hit bed and bath and then wrap this thing up. So as far as bath stuff goes, we didn't register for any towels, but it was something that we bought with gift cards that we had received. This brand is Fieldcrest Luxury. They're kind of wrinkly and crunchy right now because I had just hung them out on the line to dry. They're just a unfancy basic gray towel that have held up really, really well over the last 9 years. They've been washed hundreds of times. They're just 100% cotton. I don't think they sell them at Target anymore, which is where we got them. I looked it up and I did see the brand at Penny's, JC Penney's, if anybody still knows what that is. So even if that's not the brand you choose, get yourself a nice cotton towel, do yourself a favor and just register like a couple levels up from what you would normally buy if you're on a budget. All right, so the only thing bed-wise that we still have from our wedding registry is this Charter Club down comforter from Macys. This was a full queen and it's now on my son's bed and it just still held up so well. It has been literally used every day since we've been married, other than I suppose if we were gone on vacation, which unfortunately really hasn't been that often. We love this comforter so much that when we upgraded to a king bed, we just got the same one in a bigger size for our bed. So highly recommend. It was outside of the kitchen category, definitely best gift, and well worth the money to buy in the next size up. Love this thing. Very cozy in the wintertime, but also cool enough to still be able to use during the summer, assuming that you have a window open or you have your AC running. I almost forgot about one last thing. This basket was really the only decor item that we still have that was from our wedding registry. It's held towels, it's held shoes, blankets. It now holds my yoga and workout gear that I don't use. But again, it's kind of just one of those timeless styles in a versatile storage system that I'll probably hang on to from now until the end of time. I'm also a huge sucker for a good basket, so that might have something to do with it. Alrighty, well, thanks for hanging out for another round of shenanigans. If this video was not useful, I hope it was at least entertaining. And yeah, that's all. I'll see you in the next one. As always, I love you, have fun, and be kind. Also, side note, shout out to everybody who invested in our future and has been cheering us on since the beginning. The end.